Okay, hey, what's up everyone, and welcome again to another tutorial after a year of not doing tutorials. And I'm glad I'm finished with all the presentation videos. So yeah, many of you knows I'm working on R&D on virtual production, and dealing with all the stuff is dealing with, reading a lot and doing all the R part, which is research. And this is where I'm trying to automate myself. Basically, I'm trying to make it easier for me, not to replace myself 100%. It would be awesome to do that. But most of what I'm doing is research and reading a lot of data sheets, using manuals. Everything that you see there is part of my work. So the idea on this swarm of robots, you can use it for your own purpose. Now, there's many projects right now working on this. One is this famous Jarvis from Microsoft, which I'm not going to use. But, the interesting part here is using pretty much everything that is available. This is a good example. That's why I'm showing you. This is how Microsoft Jarvis use stage 1, which is task planning, and the second stage, model selection, which is going to use different LLMs to do the task. And stage 3 is task execution, and it's going to start mixing all those tools. And at the end, it's going to be giving you the answer of whatever task you use. So I'm going to use this, which is pretty much a template of how to do a swarm of robots like this. Another thing that I highly recommend is David Shapiro. If you know about AI, you're watching his YouTube channel, check him out. And he's working on an AGI framework, which is autonomous cognitive entities, which is a swarm of robots. I love this project. I really want to get involved in this project, but number one, I have no time, and I think for me it's faster to do things on my own. And very specific, one thing that stopped me to do that is like everything has to be local, and that's the thing that stopped me to do what I want to do. And yes, I want to use Llama, I want to use whatever large language is available, also use APIs to connect to OpenAI, but still I want to use some tools that are already available for, especially for API integrations. I'm a big fan of the project, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So yeah, so I'm gonna start using a lot of whatever is available, whatever is not that expensive. And you don't have to, but I just want to show you the process, because actually doing it is the way I learn, basically. One of the biggest one in our line of work, which is entertainment, we need to get the full Unreal Engine documentation. And the reason is pretty much impossible to scrap. I try multiple times to scrap this documentation, and I try in 4 different ways. So basically, I am asking everywhere on LinkedIn and Facebook that we need that information. But the reason I'm asking this is because I just need an offline version so we can feed it to GPT. Now, 99% of the people here was very supportive, but a couple of ones saying this is a stupid idea or whatever. The best thing that you can say to me is that I can't do it. And I thank you, because yes, I can be that. And yeah, I agree. A lot of files, and also it's very heavy. So one version that I scrapped was, I think, around 7 gig, but that doesn't mean that you can't. And when I ask for PDF, there are many methods, and the easier way is using one of those 2 Python tools that allows you to convert PDF to text. Because in the future, I'm planning to do another way of training, which is with the actual images and have already vectors on blueprints, for example, right? The other thing that I'm asking is not that much. If you go to Unreal Engine already provides, let me go a little bit. Yeah, so it provides this too. This is around, I think it was 5 gigs, something like that. And this is 1 gig, something like when you uncompress, right? So they already provide it. All I want is something like this. So if you go to the blueprint, for example, all this, right? And so it's a similar structure and offline. So that's the only thing I'm asking for. It's just an offline version. I don't think it's too much to ask, to be honest. If they have a version like this, it works. How I'm gonna do it, don't worry about it. Just give me that and I'll do it. So okay, that's that. Some people think that it's a stupid idea. Okay, let it be a stupid idea. Just let me deal with it. How you do 128? You do 1 chapter at a time, basically. Not impossible. Okay, how to deal with like a huge documentation. All you gotta do is summarize. You're not gonna have like a bad data, and then you might have to break it down in different documentation. That's not a problem. So yeah, that's how you do it. One robot at a time. I'm gonna go one by one. In this case, data sheets. Really easy. You just put data sheets on GPTs, and the GPTs is gonna use as a knowledge document. You're gonna have better information on a GPT that you're gonna have on a large language model. I think that's the future of GPT. On top of that, you have summarized information that's gonna refer to that GPT. Okay, so the other one is daily research. It will work pretty much like a newsletter. One good example would be TLDR. But there are many newsletters like that. They're very specific newsletter for AI, and you name it. YouTube. This is okay. Interesting thing. For some reason, it's not working anymore. Okay, it's working. This is the reason why I want to use all the tools, is because they're really good tools. I can use it as an API. So that would be one of the robots, sending information to you to get a summarization and getting every day, all the videos. And this is an excellent tool that now is available. I read a lot of patents. There's very interesting patents all the time, every day. So one of the SARMs robots is going to do emails. There's already tools for this. And so that's why I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I just want to use those API and combine it with whole tools. On conference, these are my 4 most important conference. What I do is I do a lot of research here. Like I spend like a week before CES or NAB. The SunCon is very small, but it's very important for me. But and SIGGRAPH also is small, but it's more like when you go to the convention is for most of the work. But the biggest one like CBS or NAB, yeah, I spend a week just prepping all my schedule. So that's a different robot, but it's going to be very useful for me. And then I have part of the empty groups where this is more organizing documentation and things and meetings pretty much. Okay, and this is something that I try to be organized, but I think it could be streamlined better, which is all the documentation of configurations, SOPs, which I write a lot of SOPs. That is my cheat sheet on everything that I do. SOPs helps everybody on the organization, but for me is my main cheat sheet, if you want to call it. Okay, project requirement is there are many tools for this, and all I want to do is just integrate the APIs. That's why I'm not picky on making from reinventing the wheel. There's a lot of software that can be used for this. I just want to integrate the API. So these are going to be a series of tutorials on R&D swarms. These robots, they're going to work all together. And again, how do you do this? Like there's so many things that you got to think. Now these are the constraints that I want to set for myself and also for the project, but it's going to help a lot to just focus. I'm going to avoid coding, so not going to be a lot of Python, and use natural language. I want these tutorials to get used to working in this way. Yes, I love coding, don't get me wrong. I love Python, I love C++, but I think this is where the whole industry is going. It's going towards natural language programming, which is by itself not a bad practice to start working like that right now, because there's many nuances that you're going to see. On the GPTs, avoid web browsing because I want to limit everything what is outside. Avoid hallucinations. You can actually. So one of the problems that I've seen a lot of programming these GPTs is people say, pretend that you are blah, blah, blah. And that's where the problem is. It takes words very seriously. If you tell the LLM, pretend to, it's going to pretend to. And that's the problem. So don't use that. That's one of the ways to avoid hallucinations. I think it's okay to say you're an expert in. There's also rewards. It works. And that's one of the things I want to show you. Okay, so let's go to this demo. Red Komodo versus ChatGPT. Trying to fine tune this thing of red, and let's see, match frame rates, Red Komodo, LED wall, shutter angle, 180 degree, shutter look. There's all the right answers, and then at the end it's asking me you have to consult the user manual. So it doesn't have that information. It's one of the things, why we're going to start using GPT. So it doesn't have the information, and I created this GPT. Hold on, and we're going to ask the same question. So, and I'm going to show you the GPT, how simple it is to looking for. And boom, there you go, you got it. So it's going to tell you to go to the sync shift part and adjust the microseconds, blah blah blah. I can find that. So tell me 163. I say I don't have the manual. Do you have the link? And I programmed for that. I programmed already for that. So we got the link. And the idea is to do this for every single camera that is approved by Netflix. So we got basically all the cameras approved. I think for some reason, is it 163? Oh, here it is. There's 164, but for some reason it's one page off. But there you go. You got it. You can see it's very simple. Okay, you're an expert on this user manual, very specific, which is the Red Komodo in the last version of the Red Komodo. Initially, do not use the internet and do not use your, I'm not going to change my previous information. You just use this file on your knowledge file to answer the user question. If you can't find the answers on your knowledge file, then ask your GPT model to answer that question. If you can't find the answer, on your GPT model, then you can access the web. If the user asks you for the user manual, provide this download link. So that's to cover everything so far. And here's the user manual, and I'm not using the DALL-E image generation, because I'm gonna show you now how awful that is. So for now, I don't recommend to use this at all. Okay, so that's that, right? And so the idea with all these GPTs is having a full information, a full acknowledged file of whatever we're gonna use. I'm gonna feed it there, and that's what I want to start using. I want to use these GPTs very specifically to feed these files. And if it's a bigger file than 128K, you should separate them in different files. That's it. That's not a problem. Different GPTs. I can have one GPT referring all these multiple GPTs. So that's not a problem. 128 is not really constrained. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to another example, and this is the Arduino GPT. It's similar, but I'm using more files. I'm using the Arduino. I'm using Atmel 328p datasheets. I'm using also Arduino here and the schematics, and I'm going to enable it first so you see the okay why it can be built now it's not working because I'm using Arduino. This is one of the things, like I have to use the word. You gotta use this. Yeah. Oh, you want to see this? So constraints: use only your knowledge files loaded to GPT to inform the user prompts. If the user asks you to create a schematic, don't hallucinate and focus on the task. And I have to do this because, again, it's one of the things, like, if you don't know, don't say or don't invent the answer. That's pretty much what I'm saying. If you don't know the answer, that's the next one. Just be honest and tell the user that you don't have that information. That's the part of avoiding hallucination. Only if the user asks you to speculate, you can use your knowledge to answer the question of your knowledge. And that's in case that, there's something that is not on the user manual and maybe, could be answered by ChatGPT. ABR is not Arduino. So basically you can generate two kind of code. One is Arduino, which is very simple code, and ABR, which has all the configuration settings, all the configuration words, everything. So if it's an ABR application, generate also the compiler commands code. So it's going to have a compiler line and generate in the commands. Okay, generate the schematic with all the necessary labels for pin numbers and pin functions. And the schematic by itself, which by the way, it's really cool. You can do schematics when the user asks for the schematics. Describe the schematic in words on bullet point, describing from where to where each connection goes, and generate schematics. And generate the schematic with ASCII text with all the necessary labels, pins, numbers, and pin function, which is a cool thing that actually ChatGPT does. And you're okay to tell the user what knowledge are you using for the file. So there is some hack that you can disable this and use some wording to tell the user, no, I'm not going to tell you, and tell him here, yeah, that's fine. You can tell him, and you can tell him what knowledge files do you have. Check it out. It's going to be fine. Just the Blink project. Now, create one color LED blinking. It's a little bit 500 milliseconds on, 500 milliseconds of ABR code. Let's do that. Okay. Thank you. So this is what you have to do with ABR. You have to program all the ports. So setting up PD5, which is the LED. It's then blink on and off. Okay, that's good. So let me keep going. And this is what I'm asking is the command for the compiler, and it's giving me here, which is important, the speed of the clock, and it's going to generate all the files and the hex file. Okay, that's good. Now give me, okay, so let's try the same prompt, and I think it's gonna work, to be honest. I don't know, it's gonna be similar. This is the schematics. Spoiler alert, doesn't make sense. Nothing here makes sense. It's totally made it up. I don't know what is that bridge here, and it's totally made it up. Okay, don't look too much on that. Now look at this. This will be the only cool things that has this GPT up to 20. And there you go. PD5, that's good. Goes to the LED. That's good. That's good. That's good. There you go. You got it. So I don't know. I think it's cool, but this is one example why GPTs, if you just reprogram everything, you can have better results. And on top of that, having the schematic already, I think it helps a lot. But yeah, it's one example of GPTs working the way it's supposed to work. Okay? Now, again, this is what I want to focus on getting better results on natural language programming. It's going to get better with different examples, all the examples that I gave you. But on top of that, yeah, we might have to use some Python to integrate all the APIs, but I want to avoid the most. So we're going in the natural language programming, and that's what I want to teach. Which, by the way, I'm not the perfect, for natural language because it's my second language. But this is where I think, in my opinion, and this is not only just my opinion, writers and lawyers, they're going to be really good programmers. And that's, I think, where the future of writers and lawyers goes to, because it's the funny thing is AI is going to take most of the job, but they're going to take most of the programmer job. That's the weird thing with AI and writers and lawyers. So yeah, we're gonna go one by one and create all these robots and then put them together. Okay, I want to do most of it on natural language, but there's gonna be some API integration. I'm paying a lot of attention of David Shapiro's doing. I love the project. Let me go to, hey, whatever work. Yeah, I'm gonna be following this. If can chip in, I'm gonna chip in. But yeah, pay attention to this project. This is really good. Okay, so for me, this is education. How to problem solve something. And yeah, I think this is where everything's going. The more time I save, on reading, more time for development. So that's the idea. As a matter of fact, I do more actually optimizing all the research. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to keep doing more robots. We're going to start making all those robots actually. Don't take this as a tutorial. It's not a tutorial. This was like an overview of what we're going to do. And I'm going to teach you one by one how you can do your own and do it for whatever you're doing. For Unreal Engine community, I hope I get the best Unreal Engine GPT, even if Epicase doesn't help me with all the website. But yeah, so this is my Discord server. You can join the Discord server. This is my Patreon. This is my Venmo. I really need money right now. And this is my crypto wallet. See you later.